Hi everyone, it is Marie here from Skeins. I'm home, I'm back. As many of you may or may not have been aware, I've been away for a couple of weeks overseas on a bit of an adventure, having a wee bit of a break with my husband and also checking out some incredible yarn stores while I was away along the Pacific Northwest of the USA. So I've had a fantastic time while I have been gone, and so I thought I would do a quick vid today and just say hello and let you know what I've been up to, what I discovered, what I saw, some of the things that have gone on here since I've been gone, and just have a bit of a general catch up, which will be fantastic, very good. So first things first, before I do anything else, Claire has told me to tell you for restocks, Sockmatition edition, Milk and Delavery. Delavery is the grey, I think. Anyway, Delavery are both back in. It's especially the milk. I know everybody has been looking for the milk. So those have just come back into stock in store. So if you've been wanting to get your floozy cardigan started or another project and you have been looking for those, they are back. The second batch is already on the board. So we are going to be definitely doing that yarn as an ongoing thing. It has just been so massively successful. So really happy about that. And also too, I finally took time today. You probably noticed I was hardly online at all. And that was because every time I picked up my phone to do anything, my husband looked at me and said, no, you're not working. So I, yes, definitely stayed away. And I've had a good catch up today on everyone's Area 51 projects. And it is so cool to see that you've been dusting stuff off and getting things done. I took mine away with me and didn't get anything knitted, but the Niada that I've been working on since the last day of Can, I have to say I've made a really, really, really good crack along with that. And it is looking fantastic, and I completely forgot to bring it today to show you, so I'll do that next week. So that is looking great. So I'm quite happy with how I was chugging along with my knitting while I was gone. And yeah, so I've been away a couple of weeks, and I have managed to ferret around and have a look at some stores while I was away. And I went to 3 stores. All of them in the Seattle area and surrounds. And the first one was called So Much Yarn. And if you've been to Seattle, there's a very, very famous market along the waterfront there called the Pike Place Market. It's one of the most famous icons of downtown Seattle. Utterly amazing. I think it's the oldest farmers market in the US. It's huge. Very akin to there's a market in Adelaide, if you've ever been to that one. It's just amazing, and a huge emphasis on seafood because it's a real hub there. And the first store was called So Much Yarn, which is actually just on I think it's First Avenue, just going down into that market. And it was a fabulous store. Met Ginger, the owner, and it was just a really, really beautiful, vibrant, wonderful, wonderful store. I needed to get some needles. The needles I've been using for my Niada were ones that I often use to travel with, and anyway, they were an old clover pair, and they got a big sort of splinter in them, and they were catching my yarn, driving me insane. So I popped in there and grabbed some more needles. So I did that and had a really good look around, and the colours, you know, lots of vibrant colours, and they had lots of really interesting of the more mainstream yarns. So they were sort of a store that was actually made me feel quite comfortable, a bit like us with Skeins. Like they had a bit of everything. So they had lots of really everyday sorts of yarns at super value prices, like Cascade 220, for example. But then they sort of went all the way through to, in fact, I've got a few bits here. They had things like, and I bought some of these samples home. Oops, not because I especially love the yarn or the colours or anything, but these are things that get me inspired about stuff that we can do here, you know, to be able to create yarns for you guys. So they had stuff like, this is the Cascade 220. We all know Cascade 220, know it and love it. This yarn is very, very much like our vintage and or to be honest, our urban when we get urban back. Don't panic, it is coming. The batch is down. It is definitely going to be urban is on its way back. All the colours have been selected and everything. So it's just a great workhorse everyday yarn. And I picked this one up because it's called Effects, and it's just got this really, really lovely sort of superwash effect over it. So I've been talking with Ian this morning about how we could possibly recreate something like that. And then another one that we had there that I like the dye effect. It's just again a standard wool. It's a single roving, and to be honest, I'd much rather use a red, something like this. But I love that speckly effect. So that is another. So yeah, really interesting bits like that. They had some gradients in there as well. And the other thing I picked up in there, and this was actually a yarn that was also in another store that I visited as well, but spin cycle yarns. And some of you may have seen, if you follow Skein Sisters in Sydney, they've just gotten this in as well. And this is a hand spun yarn. It's really, really interesting actually. It is definitely hand spun. I can tell you just by looking at it, it's hand spun. But it's just really, really fun and different. And this is certainly at the price that this one is. This is certainly a yarn that you would buy to add a little bit of pizzazz, zing to a project. So over there. So that store was just wonderful, really, really interesting, thoroughly enjoyed it, had a neat chat to the owner, and it was just, and they had like lovely big armchairs for spouses, non-knitting spouses to take the weight off, and there were a few of those, and yeah, it was just, it had a really lovely, cozy, homely feel. So totally, really, really enjoyed that. Loads and loads of fun. So I was very good. Oh, well, actually, no, I wasn't. I did buy something. Which is hiding down here actually. I couldn't help myself. I love colour. As you know, I'm a fan of colour. Look at that. Oh, Malabrigo. So this one is their sock. And of course, this will end up probably as another Niata. But look at that. Oh, I mean, that just screams fun and tropics and summer and all things good, really, isn't it? It's called Chameleon. Couldn't help myself. So I've got a couple of these for sure. Anywho, so that was great. Really enjoyed that. And then I had some time away up in Alaska for a week. Didn't manage to get to a yarn store up there. I was sort of busy doing other bits and pieces. But and I didn't really, other than one day or a couple of days, I didn't really get to wear a lot of woolies either. I packed loads of warm stuff, but they were having a really warm week. So it was beautiful, really nice. Then coming back, I spent some time just a little bit further out with some friends, and one of the suggestions I got from some of my knitting friends here was to get across to Bainbridge Islands to go and visit Church Mouse Yarns and Teas, and they have a web store. They're a really famous store over on Bainbridge Island, and I have to say, singularly the most beautiful store. Like, you walk in and it's all the fixtures and fittings have all been purpose made, beautiful white, absolutely glorious, lovely teaching area off to one side. I mean, very serene environment, very beautiful. It was, quite lovely. And while I was there, I got a couple of bits while I was there, and the couple of bits I got while I was there were these. And actually there were three bits I got while I was there. Where's the third one? Oh, there it is. So I got myself some my yak. I've not had baby yak yarn before, and I thought, I need some baby yak yarn. See what it's like. Lovely, smushy and soft. It's a little bit like alpaca with a little bit more body to it. Really lovely. So I got some of that, and it's obviously the yarn itself is sort of quite a darkish base, because you can see the grain and the heather effect in that. And then the other one I got, which was from Plucky Knitter, so those who follow people online will know Plucky Knitter, was this bloke here, and it's a fine. They said for 75 yards. It's definitely a fingerling waist sort of weight yarn. It's definitely quite fine. The reason why I grabbed it, it's an 80, and it won't show on the camera I'm afraid, but it's an 80-20 mulberry wool merino to mulberry silk. It's got the most fantastic sheen and shine to it, and it's got a higher angle of twist on it, so you know, being a mill, obviously, we're really interested in that. And it's just a really beautiful smooth yarn, and I know that if you were to knit that in a fabric for a cardigan, it would give you a beautiful, stunning, drapey, smooth fabric. Or alternatively, in a lace project, you would get really good stitch definition. It would hold really well, and you would also get that wonderful drape and wear. So we've been sort of playing around with some silk. We've actually got a concept we've had on the board now for quite some time for a silk yarn and a finer weight that we've been looking at, and we've got name branding, the whole works burger, but we've just been trying to pin down the right yarn, and I'm thinking that this could be the winner on that. So I was quite excited when I saw that. And then I got this little guy here. They call this a sushi roll. Look at that, isn't that the cutest thing I've ever seen? Again, it is a silk mo, 60% mo here, 40% silk. And yeah, there was loads of these very, very, very fine lace weight fuzzies. And as you know, we've had some of these in the shop on sale. And yeah, and that one's, I grabbed this one. All of the range of these were very vibrant colours. And so this one is called Ito. And it's Japanese, and it's just, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's the sort of thing that you would add into a project to give it a little bit of extra pizzazz. And it's definitely finer than our filigree, but it is certainly a yarn that is, I mean, I'm quite fond of these very, very fine fuzzies. I just think they're quite lovely. So that's what I got from the hardest thing, it's from Church Mouse, the hardest thing about these stores, of course, is that I just want to buy everything, and I can't. So I was very, very disciplined. So then on the final full day that I had, we had some friends that we were with who came to visit, and they knew the area very, very well. And so my girlfriend was like, great, I've found this yarn store I want to take you to. They know nothing about yarn, but they said, look, we've seen it online, it looks really nice, and it's on the way to where we want to go. And it's called Tolt. Now, I had heard of Tolt. I had no idea where it was. And the Tolt yarn store is in Carnation, which is sort of about 40 minutes out of downtown Seattle. And anyway, it's stunningly gorgeous. It's in a tiny wee town, like Carnation is tiny, like really tiny. On a Hawke's Bay level, it's about the size of Clive. You know, we're talking one main street, and that's pretty much it, small. But it's in a reasonably heavily populated greater area. So it's a real destination store. It would have been easily one of the busiest stores in this little town. And I mean, and it's a big store, really big store, absolutely stunningly beautiful. And they do a lot of their own publishing, and they have so this is some of the publishing. And if these look familiar to you, they featured recently in an Interweave Knits article, and they have their own camp that they have, retreat, and from there lots of beautiful natural yarns, but they do specialize in a lot of Washington or 100% American grown yarns, which you don't see. It's starting to really happen over there now. Like there's a real they work very, very hard, what they call from farm to yarn. I think, no, what do they call it, from farm to needle, they called it there. So there's lots of sort of yarns which have the origins. Oh, actually, that's another one that they did. This is one I already had, but Swan Island, they sold there. This guy here was a local lady, and these marls, there was lots of these sorts of natural marls, all made from sheep grown, Wyoming, Montana, all up through that northern western area. This one was another one. I love that. That is a cool spun wrap yarn, 21 micron merino, absolutely glorious. And we do a similar yarn for this actually for an upholstery client, and obviously a much coarser grain, but in the softer version it's stunning. The fabric was amazing. And this guy here was another one. That one is in this one again. It's showing it. There we go. There's a higher, what we call a higher angle of twist on the spin here, and this is an alpaca, silk, and merino. So there were some really interesting pieces from those stores, and it was just so nice to see how they do things up there, how consumers up there experience yarn, how they enjoy to do it, how they knit. A lot of them go and spend time. It was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So I completely loved it. So hopefully, well, for you guys, the good news about me doing that is it means that I come back with lots of really fantastic ideas, and some of those hopefully will come into fruition into some yarns for you in 2019 for the season next year in 2020. So that's, yeah, really exciting, really exciting. But the good news is you don't have to worry about yarns now, because we've got, whilst I was away, you'll laugh, I'm barely off the plane 10 seconds, and I'm sitting waiting for the connecting flight back to Napier, and I, finally sneak onto the Book of Face to see what was going on. And the first thing I see is a leaping lamb meme from Claire saying, "Oh, Marie's away, let's play." And they decided to have a wee sale. Bless their little hearts. But to be fair, I was all good. I actually thought it was hilarious because a lot of the yarns that are in that clearance at the moment were yarns we were hoping to have ready for Knit August nights, but we just didn't. It was just so busy, and we just didn't get a chance to get them all through. So there was a selection of those. So Claire fired, as you can see by the photography and the loading, because of course I do all of that. So they did incredibly well to navigate themselves in there and make that happen. And I just wanted to show you some of these on the video because the photography is, yes, marginal, some of it, but that's okay, it's okay. And the first things I wanted to show you were just some of these super chunks. I'm going to pop these out hopefully in a newsletter later today if I get time. Look at the time, but look at these. Now this yarn is 100% wool, but it's exactly the same weight as our Texas, and it is lovely and soft, but look at those in those gelato colours. Aren't they gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. These are just lovely. If you're looking for, to me, these just scream spring baby blanket all over them. They really do. Perfect for a baby blanket, nice and fast. These knit up on anywhere from a 9mm to a 12mm needle. If you're doing a simple garter stitch baby blanket or something similar, 12mm is fine. They are lovely and soft, great colours. So there's cream, this is very soft grey, a lovely zingy blue, and that beautiful blush pink. So those are up there, and they are $5 100 gram ball, which is an absolute steal. We don't have a massive amount of these, but if you're wanting a really quick baby project, and as I said, baby blanket, cot blanket, pram blanket, these are just absolutely perfect. So grab those. The other one that's actually not too bad for blankets like that as well, that is really quick knitting. Here's one, two, and I've lost, here it is, right there, is these guys here. Some of you may have remembered the burgundy and the Sunday morning, morning mist, I think, Sunday morning I think it was called, that we had a while ago, which this is a 14 ply. It's wool mohair, only 20% mohair, and it's only been ever so partially brushed. It is beautiful and squishy, absolutely lovely, and it's been designed as a yarn that you can actually whip up for a really quick project. It would make again a great blanket, but it would also do, like if you're looking for a really big oversized throw over or cardigan or wrap or ponchini type wrap. There's lots of those looking around at the moment. They're a real, I just know by next season they're going to be a real must-have wardrobe item. This yarn is perfect for that because you can whip something together just to whack around. And because it's got a slightly brushed texture to it, it just means that if it's designed to be quite loose and wrappy and it gets a bit fluffy, that's actually okay because it's the nature of the yarn. So yeah, these are really, really nice. And these are $3.50 a ball, which is, I mean, again, crazy, because we've only got small amounts of these. These are all little odds and ends that we had left over of white stock that we've just dyed up for you guys. So there's that. And then the other one, which is the incredible special, $2 a ball. So if you're charity knitting, and I know when we had these were in the March sale, was the Metro 10 ply. It's a wool acrylic, really soft. So the handle on this is fantastic. It is the best yarn if you're needing to whip up some quick kids projects, particularly toddlers upwards when they're screaming around and they're really, really active, and you need it to be soft and easy and wash and wear and just no drama. So this stuff is great. There are some solid shades. So these are the sort of, well, that's actually slightly semi-solid, that one. It's actually quite pretty. So there's those two solid shades, which is a grey and a sort of a very light blue grey and radio grey, which was our most popular colour when it was out the first time round. Then there's these two, which are very, 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 very subtle semi-solids. Can you see this? Now this one is showing quite blue on the camera. I can assure you that is a really strong, rich, turquoisey. Does not look like what it's looking like on there. It's a jewel coloured rich turquoise, and that is very similar to our Orb Mountain. So that's sort of got lots of really lovely bluey, greeny, foresty notes in there. And then the last three, sorry, one of them's a bit scrappy because I've just been playing around with it, is that little bloke there, which I think is really quite cute. Perfect for a blanket. This little guy here, which has got, this is like our water lilies, the red dots, and this one here is just some nice broody colours, quite pretty. So $2 a ball. So if you're doing some charity knitting, charity blankets at that price, that is an absolute steal. So we've only got, again, limited stocks of those. I know some of those are down to the last couple of packs, up through to about half a dozen packs, and that's it. So definitely jump on and grab those. The other thing I've also rephotographed this morning, if you're wanting to do some baby knitting and full ply and you're wanting some nice superwash, nice and easy, but it's something a little bit fun, are these, which are these absolutely, and again, the colour's not showing the sky off. That is the most intense, vibrant, jewel coloured teal. It is absolutely divine with those wee little flecks in there, which just pop, really pop against that and look fantastic. And this is the deepest, richest berry red, again with those little effects in there, and they look great. So if you're wanting to do some baby knits, these guys, oh, I haven't written it down. They're on the sale page anyway. I think they're an absolute steal. I've got a funny feeling they're only $3 or $4 a ball, and that's superwash. So that is an absolute bargain. The other one that's a real bargain is this guy here. This is DK 100% wool. It's on there because it's just a little bit semi-solid and the client wanted full solid. It's a beautiful lilac heather, it's called. If you're wanting a, again, incredible value yarn, I think I've got a funny feeling this bloke's going out at $4 a ball for a 100 gram ball. Great buy. It is hand wash only, but it is, again, if you're charity knitting, this is brilliant buy, absolutely brilliant buy. But I'm going to save the best for last because these are my favourites. Claire gave me these. I've just loaded these up. I just need to make sure that the volumes have popped in next to them because I've just gone and put them up. These, now the corduroy mustard, many of you picked that up in the last sale. It was a 10 ply alpaca, 85% alpaca, 15% wool. Absolutely divine alpaca yarn. So beautiful, and it was soft and luscious, and there were some gorgeous projects that you put up in that yarn. In fact, I've got a funny feeling there's one on Speakeasy at the moment that's popping up, and it's just so beautiful. And we did it in that really sort of rich 70s sort of mustard. Well, so we've got some more of it. So the natural undyed base yarn colour is the stunning champagne colour here. Isn't that beautiful? That's so good. So good. But we've just popped a couple of colours over it, and look at those. So brass, our favourite brass that we've done before, and you guys absolutely loved it when it was in the wool. And then there's a navy there as well. But look, don't those three just, I mean, they just want, I mean, I just want these, and I just want to take them home and cast them on. They're just so lovely. So if you've got one of an Aran or worsted project sitting there that you need something to cast on, you've been struggling to find a yarn to do it, this is brilliant. 100 gram balls, 160 meters per ball. So this will knit anywhere from a 16 stitch to 18 stitch tension, all the way up to a 20 stitch actually per 10 centimeter tension, if you so desire. And it is just, oh gosh, it just feels luscious. It is absolutely fantastic. And these 100 gram balls, only $12 a ball for pretty much alpaca predominant yarn is, yeah, amazing. And if you're doing actually the Alpaca Association annual conference is coming up. I know that's happening again, and they do a knitting competition that they do with that, and to enter that your yarns I think have to be 70% alpaca predominant or more, so this will qualify, which is good to know if you wanted to get involved in that. And also it's, you know, I know a lot of A&P shows have, for their entries and things, have alpaca sections, and that will qualify for most of those as well, so do definitely pick up some of that. And I've got these loaded up now. I just need to make sure that the quantities in there are correct, but so good. I know there's not a lot of this around, so definitely get on to those. There's a few other little goodies too that I will be getting to probably next week. I'm just not run out of time today, but I'm going to tease you. One is that little guy there. So if you've been looking for a wee bit of fuzz, that's just a little brushed fawn alpaca. Absolutely gorgeous. And this here is just going to be a limited edition merino soft. So that's it there. Isn't that cute? And this is just a little Bambino Milo that we've whipped up in it, just to show you what it looks like. Isn't that lovely? Really lovely. So those will be coming online next week. So, so you know, don't panic. We've got plenty to come. The other thing too that you may have noticed, I did notice someone popped it up on the Speakeasy, Creative Fibre magazine. If you're a Creative Fibre member, there you go, you would have had your magazine. I've got an article in this month's edition. If you're not a Creative Fibre member, do definitely consider getting yourself, I mean, the membership, the magazine is a great publication. They put a lot of work into it over the years. There's lots of really interesting information about what's going on and around, but also too events that are coming up, and different techniques and all sorts of different things that you can learn about in here. So do definitely have a look at this, creativefibre.org. Do check out Creative Fibre. It's an organisation, you know, they're really organised, they've been around a long time, and they're working really hard at keeping themselves really current with what knitters are doing out there, and you've got to applaud them for that. And they're actually looking at setting up some memberships as well, just to make it easier for people to join and to actually be part of that Creative Fibre experience, so you can actually meet not only knitters and crocheters, but also meet people. There's new skills in there, you know, there's a lot. Hand spinning is massive within Creative Fibre. Weaving is very strong within Creative Fibre. Felt making, sabori, there's all these other fibre related crafts, and Creative Fibre and absolutely encapsulates it all. So if you're wanting to actually expand your fibre experience, Creative Fibre is a brilliant vehicle to do this, and the memberships strong right across the country. So from, you know, from way up north to way down south, if you're in a smaller community, there will be a creative fibre chapter in your area, almost guaranteed. So it's just a really, really good way for you to be able to expand your knowledge base and actually meet some other fibrelicious people out there as well. So definitely do check that out. But look, I've been going on now for half an hour. You're over me. I know you are. I'll come back and talk to you next week. I promise that. I'll have my feet on the ground and I'll be a little bit more up to play with what's happening around the traps, give you some more information. We're going to put together some big grand prizes just for the month for Area 51 over on the Skeins Speak Easy. Instead of doing the smaller prizes, because I've just not been here, but I'm just working on some little prize packs now, which will be heaps fun. So we're going to do that. And yeah, there's a few more. Oh, the Southlanders, the new Southlander colours coming through. So good, so good. So hopefully I'll have a full collection of those to show you in the next week or two. But until then, keep posting your projects. We definitely want to see them. Oh, floozies, please, people. I know some floozies are now finished. I know that they were almost finished before I was heading away or getting close to. So I want to see pictures of you. Mirror selfies, I don't care. I want to see you wearing those floozies and I want to see what they look like, please. I know you may have already posted them over on the Truly Myrtle page, but I would like you to please post them over onto ours as well, because I'd like to see how they look. So if you could do that, that would be wonderful, and especially if it's in Sock Petition Edition, because then we can see how those colours look in that fantastic pattern. But until then, take care. I will probably talk to you again on Monday, and I hope then I'll have some exciting new things to tell you. But until then, have a great weekend and happy knitting. I'm glad it's good to be back. See ya. Bye.